Hey guys, it's Elise. Welcome back to another video.
Hey, it's me.
Today we're going to start a new series that I want to call Finishing My TBR, completing my whole TBR. Okay, the name is still in progress. We will figure that out eventually. But episode 1 is going to be clearing out the books I will not be reading. I don't want to read them, I have read them, and I just want to clear them off my shelf to put new books on my bookshelf that I actually do want to read / have loved and will probably think about for years and want to reread them. Let's start off with the books I do not want to keep, and I am going to be donating them, selling them. Right now I have 2 pretty good piles. One book I know my mum wants to keep, but I will show you that anyway. I'm also gonna get her to look at all the books before I get rid of them. So these might not all make it to the book store. Also, if you saw my video a couple years ago, which was all the books I will not be reading / DNF'd, some of those will be in here because I have yet to get rid of them. It's so dusty. First book I will be getting rid of / this is going to my mum because I know she'll probably want to keep it, is It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. I bought this a couple years ago. I never read it. My mum read it. She was like, I know you have the copy, do you still have it? And I was like, yeah, here you go, read it. And now it's been sitting on my reject bookshelf in the hallway since I moved back home in November. So I thought this one can go to my mum. First book I will be donating, selling, all of the above. How to Find a Missing Girl by Victoria Wilslock. I'm not actually 100% sure on the pronunciation there, but I read this one end of 2023. I did enjoy it. I was on my whole A Good Girl's Guide to Murder kick, my mystery kick, and I wanted more books and I couldn't find any, and then this one called out to me in a bookstore one day, and I did read it, and it was pretty good. There's like a few texts and stuff in here, but this is one I will be getting rid of because I have not thought about it. I only thought about it when I was clearing off that bookshelf to bring everything into my room. Is The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Amos. This one I only got 2 years ago because it was a buy 3 get 20% off or something. So I got this one because the girl was like, I loved it, I so recommend it, and I was like, cool, I'll get it. And since then I have read the other 2 books that I bought on that shopping trip, and I have yet to read this book. So I just think if I'm ever going to read this, I will probably get it on my Kindle anyway because it's a thickie. So I might as well just get rid of it. The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. Sorry, I don't know where I got that Rooney from. This one I only bought because I really wanted to watch the movie. It has been 2 years since I bought this book, and I have yet to read the movie. Read the book or watch the movie. So if I'm ever gonna watch the movie, I'll just watch the movie and I won't read the book. Brothers Hawthorne by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I am still debating if I just get rid of the whole Inheritance game series, because I have not thought about it in years since I read it. And also I do like the newer covers better than the OG covers that I got. But we're definitely getting rid of the Brothers Hawthorne. I just didn't like it. I DNF'd it, I think like this, maybe not even that far through, like this far through or something. Like very quickly I realized I did not like the book and I DNF'd it. Atlas 6, haven't read this in 2 years. I bought it purposely from Kmart because I wanted the big covers, and I have not read it, and now all the books are in small covers. So I'm like, well, if I'm gonna read it, I will just buy them again, all in the small covers. So Magnolia Parks, the OG cover edition. I bought this because I wanted the OG covers if I enjoyed the books, and then I read it and I absolutely hated it because they keep describing things and being like, you know, and I was like, no I don't, because I'm not in that, well, I don't know, I just don't follow that. I don't follow fashion that much, and it was like, you know, that Versace dress or whatever, and I was like, no, I do not know what you're talking about, and I can't even visualize it. If you just said I was wearing a brown Versace strapless dress, I would have been like, cool. Don't even know if they have one, but I would have been like, cool, I can envision a brown strapless dress. But the fact that they said, you know, the one, I was kind of just like, I don't, and so now you're taking me out of my story. Kiss the Sky and Addicted to You by Krista and Becca Ritchie. I read Kiss the Sky. I think it was like one of the first books I read, and I did enjoy it. but I only read this because we didn't have the Addicted series in New Zealand at the time, and so I read it and I was like, I'm just gonna read the Calloway Sister series. And then we did get the Addicted series, and then I was like, fuck, no, I really want to read this, but then I'd already read this, so I kind of had spoiled this for myself, and I just have yet to read any more of these books, and so I'm just like, well, there's no point in them sitting on my shelf. One, I DNF'd quite quickly, and that was Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher, and I can tell you exactly why I DNF'd this one, and it has nothing to do with the fact it was in Spanish or had some Spanish in it. It was the fact that every single time I wanted to know what I was reading, I had to go to the bottom of the page, and then I would lose where I was at in the book, and so I was basically just losing where I was at, and so I was like, nah, this is too complicated. I just want to read a fuzzy little romance. I would have probably enjoyed it if I have read books with translations before, and it's usually like it will say what it is, and then it will have right next to it what the English translation is, and then I can enjoy the book because I can read straight away what the translation is instead of having to figure out what the translation is. Because I do love reading other languages, I feel like it's a good way to learn other languages because you're able to translate it quite easily. It's just that I had to keep leaving the story to figure out what I was reading, and I didn't like that, and so therefore I DNF'd it. Unfortunately, I do really want to read this book. I really would love to, but unfortunately the translations just really threw me off and I couldn't get into it. Would really love to read a Lauren Asher book because I really want to get the hype. That was just a really big like, no thank you. I'm just going to rapid fire all of these ones because I just don't really have many reasons. Thousand Boy Kisses, did not get into it, so therefore she gone. I'll probably watch the movie though, or series whenever that comes out. I just could not get into the book. Icebreaker. I got halfway through this and then DNF'd it. And then my mum tried to read it and I think she also DNF'd it, and that was enough for me. I Kissed Shara Wheeler by Casey McQuiston, who's also the author of Red, White and Royal Blue. I have not read any of her books. I tried to read this and then I wasn't in the mood for this book anymore, and then I have yet to pick it up again since, and it has been 2 years. These two books I actually did read, I just probably will never read them again, and they were average books for me. So we have Back to You by Tammy Robinson, and also Love at First Sight by Anna E. Collins. This one, I only bought it because at the time I was dating a guy with the male MMC's name, and I thought that was funny at the time. And that's also a part of the reason why I will probably never reread it, because that's the memories I have with this book. And Love at First Sight, oh, it was average. I didn't really care. It was kind of like a little filler book for me. Moving on to ones I kind of have a bit more of a reason for. We have The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. Nothing against this, I have yet to read it. What is this? Like when I compare it to this, well, actually that's a little floppy. Why is this still straight? Like, what? And this is on Kindle Unlimited. So, because of the texture of my book, I was going to read it on Kindle anyway, so. The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Clearly a theme, I don't really seem to pick up her books. I actually have nothing against her. I loved the Inheritance Game series when I read it. But this one will probably be another one my mum probably takes from me because she's spoken about wanting to read this. But I just have no, it's not on my immediate TBR, and so therefore I'm just like, well, why keep it? Someone else might as well enjoy it if I'm not gonna read it in the next like 6 months. One of us is Lying. Again, I've had this for a while and I have yet to try and pick it up. I watched the first season of the show, and I have yet to again watch season 2. There are other books that I just want to read more. Lucy Score. We have Forever Never and Pretend You're Mine. Pretend You're Mine? I love Lucy Score. I loved Knock 'Em Out, and I do have another one on my TBR which is by a thread. I bought that at the same time as Forever Never, and I do want to read that one. I did try and read Forever Never, and part of the reason is that there's just like all these marks in the book, but also I just wasn't interested in the story. Pretend You're Mine. It's another series, and honestly I don't want to start another one right now. And yeah, otherwise I have no reason. I just know I probably won't pick it up anytime soon, probably not in the next year, and I've had it for 2. Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. I do really want to read this. I enjoyed the plot of Powerless, which is based on this, so I do really want to try and read it. But yet again, I just have yet to pick it up, and I just don't see the point in keeping a book I'm not going to pick up. The 7-Year Slip. I do really want to read this. It took me so long to track it down. But it's been sitting on my TBR for a while, and again, I don't see the point of keeping books if I'm not wanting to read them ASAP. Because I have so many on my TBR that I'm like, if I'm not gonna read it. I want to become one of those girls that buys a book, reads it, buys another book, reads that book. I don't want to have a TBR anymore. Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. I think she is probably an amazing author. All my friends love her. I just have yet to pick up her book, and this is the only one I own by her. And honestly, I feel like I'd probably go for like Love Hypothesis or something else, because they're a bit more like, I don't know. I actually don't know. I haven't done research, so I probably need to do that. I just bought this because it was her newest release at the time. The Bodyguard by Catherine Center. Again, this has just been on my TBR for way too long, and I have no urgency to read it, and so I just think someone else might as well have it. The Caraval trilogy. So Caraval, Legendary, and Finale. I have read both Caraval and Legendary. They both put me into slumps, and so therefore I have had no urgency to read Finale. I read Caraval because I was actually really excited to read it because I loved Once Upon a Broken Heart and that whole trilogy. And so I bought this, was actually tracking it down for weeks and I couldn't find it anywhere. But I bought it, I read it, and it put me into a slump and I couldn't read any other books. And so I was like, cool, awesome, this is fun. And then a couple months later, read Legendary. Just wanted to give it another shot, see if it was just Caraval that wasn't for me or if it was the whole series. Yeah, read this and that put me into a slump as well, and so I was like, cool, I think the series is just slumping me out. And I read this about a year ago, and this book is still sitting on my TBR. And so I'm just thinking I'm not going to read them. I probably won't ever read them again because they keep slumping me out. And it's nothing against Stephanie Garber, because I love the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. I just clearly don't love this one, and it's clearly not for me, and so therefore I'm just going to give it to someone else who can love it a bit more than I will. Those are all the books I am unhauling and will not be reading anytime soon. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys all in my next one, whenever that may be.